All right, section 9.5 is solving using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is the only one that works for all quadratics, okay? So you will get the same answer no matter what type of problem you do, and that's why the quadratic formula works. So it is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is something you will need to memorize, and I will teach you the song tomorrow to help you do so. But refer back to that formula today. Oh, something else to note. Quadratic equations must be set equal to 0 before you can identify what a, b, and c are. Remember, our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is the first number, b is the second number, and c is the third, but it must be set equal to 0. Something to note, if what's underneath the radical is a positive number, you're going to have 2 real solutions. What's left is negative. You're going to have 0 real solutions because you cannot take the square root of a negative number. And if you're left with the square root of 0, you're going to have 1 solution. So number 4, a is 4, b is 3, and c is negative 1. If x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 3 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over, I don't know why it's writing like that, all over 2a, which is 2 times 4. Okay, from this point, you're going to get your calculators out, and you're going to put this part in. You're going to put in the square root, and then you're going to type in exactly what you see. Go ahead and hit pause while you do that. Then you're left with x equals negative 3 plus or minus 5. You should have gotten 5 when you plugged all that in, divided by 8. Since that is a positive number, you're going to have 2 real roots, and now you just solve. So you have negative 3 plus 5 divided by 8, and x is equal to negative 3 minus 5 divided by 8. So you're left with x is 1/4, and x is equal to negative 1. That is your answer to A. B, make sure you move the 7 over. So you should have, let me use a different color, 3x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus. 5 squared is 25. If you want to skip to that, you can. B squared minus 4 times a is 3 times c is negative 7 divided by 2 times a, which is 6. Once again, hit pause and plug this into your calculator, the square root of all of that. When you're ready, hit play. X equals negative 5 plus or minus, you should have gotten 10.44 divided by 6. Then you need to set up 2 equations, negative 5 plus 10.44 divided by 6, and negative 5 minus 10.44 divided by 6. Go ahead and do that. Rounded to the nearest hundredth, you get 0.91. X is equal to negative 2.57. Once again, you have 2 real solutions. Letter C is all set up. So x equals negative b, which is negative 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared. 8 squared is 64, minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 5, all over 2a, which is 2 times negative 2. Okay, this is what goes in your calculator. Go ahead and do that. You should have gotten 4.9 all over negative 4. Okay, so once again, you have 2 equations, negative 8 plus 4.9 divided by 4, and negative 8 minus 4.9 divided by 4. You should get 0.78, and x equals 3.23. Once again, pause this video and do this stuff in your calculator. Make sure you're getting the same thing. All right, question B, you've got to move this 5 over. So your equation is x plus x L equals 0. X equals negative b, which is negative 9, plus or minus the square root of 9 squared root of 81, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, plug this in your calculator. Hit pause. will realize eventually that this is a negative number, and you're probably getting an error in your calculator. Okay, that just means the number of roots is 0, and there are no solutions. You cannot take the square root of a negative number. Letter E, move both of these things over, so you have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 is 0. So you have x equals negative b, which is positive 4, plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared. Make sure that's in parentheses. B squared minus 4 times a times c all over 8, because 2a is 2 times 4, which is 8. Use your calculator to plug in this part, the square root of all of that. You have x equals 4 plus or minus 0 is what you should get there, divided by 8. So since that's 0, I'm only going to have one real root, and that real root is 4/8, which simplifies down to 1/2. Last problem, I have 2x squared minus 12x plus 15. When I move that over, equals 0. So I have x equals negative b, which is positive 12, plus or minus the square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 2 times 15, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. When you plug this part, why did it erase my square root symbol? When you plug that part into your calculator, you should get 4.9. So I have x equals 12 plus or minus 4.9 all over 4. I'm going to have two roots, and those roots, when you use your calculator, should be 4.23 and 1.78. And that's it.